What's up, guys? It's Parker. I'm back here with my two audience members,
Hey.
and I'm going to talk to you about the game of golf, the history of golf, and like just what clubs they use, and all the good stuff that comes with it. Okay, like I said, Parker. Hey, I'm going to try to inform y'all on the game of golf. And when watching the game of golf, we're playing the game of golf and just trying to give you some knowledge and just the history and just a little bit of something about it. So I know y'all would probably think that golf is just for dads to take naps on Sundays with, but it's also like one of the hardest sports to play, and it takes a lot of consistency, accuracy, and extreme hand-eye coordination to play the game of golf. And like I said, I play a little bit and I caddied a lot, and it's a really frustrating game, and it's really really a very good mind game. But it takes a lot of practice and good fundamentals to be a really good golfer. So, like I said, I was a former caddy and golf assistant, and I've been around the game for a good portion of my life. So, I can I can uh, I can show y'all how or explain the how to play golf and what clubs to use and how they are used and a little bit of history. So I'm going to start with the history of golf, and it was originated in the eastern coast of Scotland during the 15th century. And how it started was people go out there with like little sticks or little man-made clubs and just hit around with rocks on like just a like a I don't know, like a pasture or something, and just hit around and try to, I say, whoever knocks it closer is basically how the game got started. And the game was really increased along with soccer. And during this time, English was preparing to invade Scotland, so the king banned both sports because it was interfering with archery. So it got banned for a little while, but after the war was over, it started picking up again, and actually King Charles the First was one that introduced it to England, and so they got a lot of royal endorsements, and the Mary Queen of Scots, who was French, also introduced the game to France, which actually the term caddy refers to her cadets in the French army that helped her out while she played golf. So that's a little cool fun fact to know about how caddy got started. But the first premier golf course was in Leith near Edinburgh, over there across seas. And Heath held the first international match in 1682. And I forgot to mention that golf started in 1492. Oh, sorry about that. But it was the international match in 1682 when Scotland beat the two English noblemen. Leith was also the place where they first made the actual rules, the first rules for golf. So, stroke play was introduced, and St. Andrews was the first 18-hole course, which is still open today and played in major championships in the PGA. And it's also it moved on to by 1900. That's right. Golf was an Olympic sport, and there was over 1,000 courses in the U.S. and the USGA was developed, which is the United States Golf Association, which is the biggest sports club in the U.S. So that's pretty interesting. But now I'm going to show you, try to teach you the rules and how to play the game of golf. And golf is called the greatest game ever played. People from ages 4 until they can't physically be able to play golf have do play this game. And it's a very calming, rewarding, and frustrating game all in one. It's a really hard game, and you're going to make mistakes. Professionals make mistakes every time they go out there, so you're not going to be perfect. And so the best is not to get mad at yourself, get frustrated with yourself, and just learn from your mistakes and pick up on them and try to learn from them and try to do better. But golf is played on an 18-hole course, so you have 18 holes, and each hole has a par, and pars range from 3 to 5. so known as par 3, par 4, par 5. So if you're on a par 4 and you make from the tee box and you takes you 4 strokes, you get down the fairway, on the green, putt again, and make it, that means you get par, which you're even. So pars are really good, but if you go down there and make it in 3 strokes, go down and make it 3 strokes, birdie, which is 1 under, which is really, really good. But when you go over par, it's tough when it starts getting bad. Scores start getting high, and but what you really need to focus on the game of golf is your short game. Putting and chipping is 80% of what you need to focus on. Driving the ball a long ways looks cool and flashy and all, but putts make the dough. That's what they say all the time, and that's why I try to tell people to just focus on your putting and chipping. That's the big thing. But yeah, like I said, 18 holes, par 3s, par 4s, par 5s, and it's kind of, it has a big rule book, but it's not too bad after a while. Now I'm going to show you all the different clubs to use in when you play golf. And the first ones are your woods. You got your 1 wood, which is your driver, is considered a wood, and then you got your 3 wood and 5 wood. And those are typically your fairway woods, which is for long distance. So you're at least over 200 yards out to the green, and you're just trying to knock it up there close from a long distance. So I got my driver right here, which is they also call a 1 wood. Right here, so you usually tee off on par 4s and par 5s with it. And then I got my 3 woods, or my 2 woods. I got my 3 wood, which is just like that. And then my 5 wood, which is a little, I could hit a little shorter distance, but it goes pretty far. 5 wood. So you usually hit those when you're really far out. And then you have your hybrids. And a hybrid is a club between a wood and a long distance iron, which it means your long distance irons are going to be a lot harder to hit. When, like those woods I showed you, they're a lot easier to hit than a long iron. So this is kind of a little mix between them. I don't have a hybrid myself, but a lot of older gentlemen usually hit hybrids, and it makes the ball striking a lot better. Then you got your irons. Your irons are you use when you're typically at least 200 yards into the green, and your irons can range from a 2 iron to a 3 iron up to a 9 iron. And a 3 iron is what you use for your longest distance, because they don't have a very, let me show you, don't have a very long loft. So it's pretty straight. And you can drive those pretty far, and then it goes up to a 9 iron. So it's a little bit different. You use for a little shorter distances. And then you have your wedges, like my sand wedge here, and they're used for chipping short distances and trying to get shots close to the hole. And then you have your putt, which you use on the green and try to get it into the hole, and that's where you make your dough at, with your putter. But in conclusion, I kind of told y'all a little bit about the history, how the game is played, and a little bit about the club. So I hope this information helps, and hopefully it can influence you to start the game of golf.